Welcome back to Elevate.
So you shared this post the other day in your stories.
My wife would come to me and say, I've had a really tough day. And my response would be, tell me about it. I've had a really tough week. Then she'd come back to me that week and she'd say, I'm really tired this week. I'd be like, tell me about it. I've been tired this whole month. I was using every opportunity for her to be vulnerable with me and share how she was feeling to one-up her and make a point that I was working harder, that I was doing more, that my pain, my fatigue was more important than hers. What does that do? It creates no space for her to be heard or to feel connected with.
So you shared that reel, and I actually went because it kind of hit me. I was like, yo, she's sending that to me?
Ooh, someone was feeling...
But she didn't send it to me. She posted it. She posted it in her story. And I was like, I gave it some thought, and then I actually went to listen to the whole podcast, which it was a great episode.
I'm glad you felt curious to dig deeper.
Yeah. And then I felt like I might do that sometimes.
At that moment when I shared that, I wasn't trying to throw you an indirect, but I'm glad you kind of recognize that maybe you do that sometimes. Because when I think about it, you do. And sometimes I might not say anything about it because in a way I feel like it's kind of selfish for me not to want you to also express how you're feeling, because I take pride in being that wife who also wants to listen to how you feel. So I don't want to be that selfish to just say, well, I'm feeling bad, you're not allowed to tell me you're feeling bad. I don't want to I don't want to do that. But if I'm completely honest, I don't know if you do it in that same sentiment he's saying. Like he's saying the husband basically is trying to one up the wife in terms of, well, if you're tired, I'm more tired, Yeah. But for me, I feel like, let's say, for example, I'm going to give a very broad example. Like you come home and I'm like so stressed out because I've been home with the kids, and little minor things in the house have been stressing me out, and now I have a headache, and I'm like, oh my God, babe, I have such a bad headache. And then it's like you try to match my energy, and it's like, oh my God, like me too, like I have a real bad headache, like since like 10 o'clock this morning. Yeah. And then it's like, in that moment, I wish you didn't do that, because I'm not trying for you to give me more of that energy. I'm trying for you to like kind of like alleviate the stress that I have.
Kind of like, I'll take care of you. Don't worry.
Yeah, but it's like, is that fair too? Like you also had a rough day.
And he's also explaining like, I have to do that because I don't make time for myself.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think I always do it, but now I'm a little bit mindful of.
And I don't think you've done it intentionally either.
Yeah, but I don't think the people that do it intentionally.
Yeah, that's
I think
right.
it's just like a habit. Like, oh, you feel like, oh yeah, today I had a bad day too. Like, oh, my day was probably a little bit worse than yours because this happened.
I'm pretty sure I've done it myself too. Like if you'll say like, or maybe I don't know if I'd say it out loud or I just think it. But like if you'll come home and you'll be like, oh my God, I was super busy at the studio. Like this person canceled or they had to extend or whatever, something happened. And in my mind, I could be like, oh, great. Like I had a horrible day myself. Yeah. So it's like, whatever. Like, I don't know if I have said that out loud, but I could have felt that. I'm sure I have felt that. I'm not even gonna pretend like I haven't. I know I have.
But definitely, it's definitely something I'm more mindful now. So I will definitely be mindful when that's happening.
I appreciate it.
Because, it makes sense. Like, if you're in a negative space or not a happy space or just, like,
stressed
feel
out,
defeated, it's like, why would I go and say, oh, hey, I'm also defeated, but I'm more defeated than you are?
I know.
It's like, we're really not going to win.
No. It's like a lose-lose kind of thing. Yeah. And then it's like you add more negative to the negative energy.
And especially, as a man, I feel like I can probably deal with whatever I have going on better than what you can. Not saying that men are better than women or anything like that. But
I agree with you.
But emotionally, I probably handle things better than you do. So
100%.
Me complaining to you that I have a headache because something happened, I could just
or
take
just
a
like,
Tylenol.
yeah. Not that I don't want you talking to me about the things, but if you do see that I am in a negative state, don't add to my negativity, because I can't talk for you, but for me, when I'm in a negative space, I can't deal with more negativity. Like,
Yeah.
I spiral. Like, I need someone to bring some light.
Yeah. I mean, because at that point, it's like, okay, great. So you can't help my problem either because you're all jacked up.
It's tough. And then I'm so empathetic that I won't even tell you that doesn't work for me. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm his wife. Like, if he doesn't tell me about his problems, who is he going to tell? Mm-hmm. So.
But I don't even think it's me not telling you my problems. It's just me choosing the correct time to tell you my problems. Like, if I tell it to you when you're telling me your problems, then it's going to crash. But maybe if I help you solve your problems, maybe 2 days later you're feeling better. And I'm like, damn, it's been a rough week. And you're kind of like,
I'm better. I can deal with it.
Let me cook you a nice meal for you.
Yeah, I can deal with it at that moment. But if I'm if I'm going down and crashing,
everybody stay calm.
And you bring in more, fire to the fuel, I could definitely see myself. It has happened.
Yeah.
It has happened. But, the way I deal with it is very unhealthy. But I don't know. It's how I have dealt with it in the past. I just kind of like isolate, and I just try to take my mind off of things by like binge watching maybe a show that will make me happy. Or
how would I, as a husband, make you feel better on days that you don't feel good? And that either be emotionally or just you're tired. Like, how can I help you on those days? Like, what are things that I can do as a husband that would help you?
Well, it depends on the day. Like, there's certain times in my monthly cycle where I just feel down, and there is no reason. I just don't feel okay. And in that case, anything small that you do will make me feel better. And I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. You just even walking through the door and giving me a hug, or literally you can bring me anything, like a chocolate bar, my favorite Starbucks drink. You can make me a meal, and that would make me feel so much better.
Yeah.
It's just like little things. It's not really like you have to solve the way I feel. Yeah. Like, sometimes we just need someone to like cheer us up, to like make us feel like, hey, like there's no reason for you to be feeling so down right now. Like, you have someone that loves you. Sometimes you just need a little bit of what is it?
Spice.
Like that love hormone, like sometimes you just need that touch.
Endorphins.
Yeah, sometimes which you have done, like you do this sometimes. You'll come in and you see that I'm not in the best mood, and you'll like come and hug me for like 10 seconds. And even if it doesn't take it all away, it does help. And in other days, it might just be motherly things that have me stressed out. I'm overwhelmed because, I don't know, I was working earlier and maybe I had a busy day with work stuff, and then I had to clock out of work, and then I'm stressed out because I'm not sure about what meal to make for the week. Yeah. But you do kind of help. I can't take away too much credit away from you, because you are very understanding. Okay. You're very understanding most of the time. You're not the type of person to walk in and match my energy in that sense. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, you won't give me an attitude. Maybe sometimes, but for the most part, I feel like you're understanding, and you're not demanding things from me that I can't even provide for myself at the moment.
I feel like if I do give you, I want to say an attitude, it'll probably be because I probably have a million things in my head. Mm-hmm. So it's like the little things that, let's say, come up. It's like, damn, I don't even want to think about putting cream cheese on a bagel right now.
No, it's, we laugh, but day-to-day activities to do, especially when you're parents, and it's not just you and I taking care of ourselves. When we're in a fatigued mental state, the simplest thing can piss you off.
Yeah. And then it's weird because you are a very active late night person. Like
later in the day.
Like,
person,
yo, it's time to bed. No, Jessica wants to clean right now. And if I don't want to clean with Jessica, Jessica's tight. But Darwin here has been up since 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at that time, I am a very productive person in the morning, like super productive.
Yeah.
You're the opposite.
Yeah. If I'm going to be super productive in the morning, if I'm going to wake up super early and like be active from the morning time, I have to sleep 7.5, 8 hours minimum.
But that's not usually the case. Usually, like, you activate.
And
like,
that's not usually the case. There's been moments, periods and times which I have shared in this podcast that I've done that. And I know that it works like a charm. Mm-hmm. But the reality that I've gotten to accept at this point in my life is that my schedule is just so, I don't seem to get a grip to having a very consistent schedule every day. I just have not. I can do it if I put my mind to it and I say 30 days, I'm going to do this. You know, if I have this challenge, I stick through it. But then I slowly but surely, it could be something as simple as Armani has a new baseball class and, you know, times are changed and every day we get home at a different time and that pushes me back and all of a sudden I'm back to not having a regular schedule every day. Yeah. And it's very hard for me to go from having consistency every day. Once my consistency is like broken, it's hard for me to go back to that consistency. Yeah. Which is terrible. I hate it. I wish I could be the type of person that, okay, my Monday was thrown off. It's okay. Tuesday, I'm back at the regular schedule. But it's very hard when I break that perfect pattern that I should have, or the schedule for sleep, my sleep schedule. Like in line, when it breaks, it's hard for me to get back on it. I don't know if it's just excuses, if I'm just being fucking weak right now, I don't know. But I don't know. There's just way too many variables. Like, I could be like, okay, this week, this is exactly what I'm going to do. All of a sudden, Zena gets sick. And it's like, I'm up all night on Tuesday. And it's like, I can't have a consistent schedule right now. Because it doesn't only depend on me. It depends on everyone that's in my household. That I care for as well. So I don't know. I find it difficult. I don't know if you guys have any ideas of how I can improve in that. Please help me out.
I know I have figured out ways to, let's say, when you wake up in the morning, guarantee that you are in a better mood. So like, since I just said like I'm a morning person, like I usually wake up first, especially like on the weekends for some reason. And like I could do all the dishes, like clean up, and I don't mind it. I just like put a podcast on and I'm in the zone. And like you wake up and you're like, oh,
yes, oh my God,
let's start the day.
Because I ideally love to go to bed with my house picked up already, because I already know I'm not much of a morning person. My energy is not at its max in the morning. Yeah. But there's days where I'm so exhausted in the nighttime that I'm like, forget everything.
Yeah,
I'm just going to bed. I just
be like, it's going to be a mess again tomorrow anyway. So,
that helps so much. I don't even think you understand to the level that it helps me.
I mean, I guess I do, because I do it. I mean, I do it for you.
It also helps me when you think of like, if you're making breakfast and you think of like making me breakfast, and I wake up and everything is like tidied up and I have like breakfast like ready. Oh, that so attractive.
I do my thing.
That turns me on.
Hey, yo.
I don't know. You're right. I mean, who wouldn't wake up in a better mood?
I mean, I know those are the things that stress you out the most based on our life. Like, that's mostly what you hate doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, whenever I can do it, I do it.
And I appreciate that. So yeah, you're right. We are very different in terms of like when we are energized and when we're not, unless I'm on a very healthy schedule in terms of sleep and eating. I'm pretty much a very spontaneous person on my day, which I'm trying to better every day. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to find ways of how to hack my mind to like be better at those things. But the reality is I have not found that thing, or maybe I'm just at a time in my life where for me it's not possible. So I just try to move along as best as possible with what works for me. So for us, like, we know this about each other. So it's good that we're aware so that we can pour into each other in whichever ways we can.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, for example, like in the night, you're more of like a morning person. So more likely than not, you're thinking about breakfast and you're doing breakfast a lot of the times. Sometimes not. Sometimes it's not possible. You have to be here in the studio. But when you can, you do that. And then for me, I'm more active in the evening, and I'm like the dinner person. Yeah. I'll have like dinner ready. So I know, like, if you've been in the studio all day, maybe you've been snacking and not really eating a full meal. If I'm home and I have the energy, it's already evening time, I'm already awake.
Yeah. But that's usually easier for you to do it if you're not dealing with the house being a mess.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Because I know usually if the house is a mess, you will complain to me and say, I don't know what to do. Like, the house is a mess and I got to clean and the kids are here. Or
I feel like my mind is so scattered when my house is a mess that I can't even think straight. Yeah. So a lot of the times, like in the morning time, not in the morning time, like early afternoon, I'll try to, like, if my house is a mess, I'll try to like tidy up so that my mind can be clear for dinner time. Yeah. So that I can, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Every day is a trial. It's a learning process. Yeah. I don't know. Every day is different for me. Every day just is not the same for me, and I've gotten to the conclusion that I have to be okay with that. Yeah. Because it gets to a point where I'm so stressed out about the fact that I'm upset at the fact that I'm upset that it's ridiculous. Yeah. And in a way, I feel like my self-awareness is a blessing and a curse. Yeah. Because I'm aware of the fact that I'm letting little things get in my way of me having a productive day. But at the same time, I can't get myself out of that rut and out of that thought process of the fact that I'm upset at the fact that I'm upset that my house is a mess and I can't function the way I feel like I should be functioning.
And that should because of what you feel are the standard of what a woman should be?
Maybe part of it, probably.
And is that comparison to social media and what you see and you feel like other moms on social are living it up, or you just feel like it's
definitely not a social media pressure for me. It's not because I feel like other moms are doing that. Mm-hmm. I just feel like I have to. I just don't like clutter. I don't like to be in a messy home. I don't like to feel like.
No, I don't mean like the clutter part. Like, I don't think nobody. Well, I wouldn't say nobody.
I feel like there's levels. There's certain people who deal with clutter better than others. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's certain people who can kind of turn that switch off.
But I don't mean clutter. I mean, like, in general, like, that you feel like you have to do everything, or you're not fulfilling your job as a mother, wife.
I just wish I could. I just internally, I don't know, maybe it is something that I've adopted from viewing things online, but I just don't think so. I feel like even if I wasn't online, I would feel like I'm not doing what I have to do.
Okay.
So I don't think it's influenced by anyone online for me.
And how much does it help that I don't necessarily, like, I'm not the type of man to tell you, like, you should be doing this.
It helps because if you did do that, I feel like we would have really bad arguments because at those moments, I'm so not well mentally that I feel like I would lash out in a bad way because I already feel like I'm not doing enough myself without anyone telling me. So you telling me, like, let's say you would be like telling me, oh no, you're not doing enough. Like, this house, look at this house, or like dinner's still not ready, you know. I think I will go off.
Yeah. Because I know there's a lot of relationships and marriages that are like that. Like, the man expects the woman to do that. Like, Monday through Sunday, you have to have a home cooked meal. And I kind of look at it the other way. I don't know if it's just me that I'm like, if there's not a meal done and let's say you don't feel like cooking and let's say we're not supposed to be spending money, I kind of turn it on myself. I'm like, why aren't you doing more to be able to just order out whenever you want or like bring dinner because my wife doesn't want to cook?
See, and this is where I get a lot of thoughts like through my head when I'm in these situations, right? Because I'm like, wow, now I start understanding why some women really feel strongly that there's certain roles that just click more with the women and there's certain roles that just are for men, right? And this is not to say that you can't do the role of a man and the woman can't do the role of a woman. You could try. You could do it. Like, we could do whatever we want. Yeah. We're capable of anything. But as a mother, as a wife, I feel extreme guilt not doing those things.
And as a husband, as a father, I feel extreme guilt as not being able to provide as much.
Right. Right. And this is not because I'm telling you need to provide or you're telling me I need to be this housewife. These are just internal things we feel. So this is where I internally start to understand more and more why older women, older generations, and even some women in this generation start emphasizing on how important it is to choose your partner and to make sure that your partner understands how important these things are. Because now it's like in my mind, I get it. Like, I get why a woman should have a job outside of her work, outside of her house if she feels like it, but why it shouldn't be a requirement. Yeah. Because it's a lot. Like, it's a lot for you to have to work a 9 to 5 and then also have in your mind, like, I need to make sure my kids are eating healthy. I need to make sure I'm eating healthy because I need to care for them. And if I'm not caring for myself, I can't care for them. If I'm not okay mentally and physically, I can't care for my family. I need to make sure that my house, is clean because who likes to live in filth? Yeah. I need to, and so if you are also working a 9 to 5 and then you have all these things, right? I need to make sure my kids are now with the technology not watching inappropriate things, right? I need to make sure my kids are doing good in school. I need to make sure they're developing, emotionally, socially. These are all our responsibility, actually. But moms feel a bigger sense of responsibility and a bigger guilt when they can't do those things for their family. And so when you're now required to give your time and attention to something that's just giving you money, the money is not going to fulfill those things you want to do as a mother and as a wife. It never will. It never will.
Yeah.
And I understand now why certain women, they're like, I don't want to have a family. I don't want to have children. If you feel like you don't want to take away from your attention of your career to take care of your family and your kids, I agree with you. You shouldn't have a family, because otherwise you're going to feel guilty.
Yeah.
Because you can't give your undivided attention to those things. So it's difficult, you know, and I understand, you know, that every life, you're born into circumstances, right? We were not born into wealth. So I married someone who doesn't come from wealth either. So this is what I chose. But it's difficult. Now I understand like why I should teach my daughter what to look for in a man. You definitely need to look for a provider type of mindset. Because as a woman, we have feelings that are innate to ourselves when we're born that are just part of us.
Yeah, and it's not even like, oh, our daughter needs to go get somebody who has money.
No.
It has to be just someone who
has a provider mindset.
Yeah, just like wants to provide. And even if they don't have it, they're just like, we're going to figure it out, and I'm gonna
who prioritizes their wife, their kids. Someone who, when they see that wife is struggling, they can be empathetic and they can understand, like, I get it. I'm going to work so that I can make this better in whichever way I possibly can, and in whichever way God gave me the strength to make this better. It's just, you know, like so many things that go into it that, you know, as you start to get older, you start to understand the depths of why certain things, for the most part, generally should be the way that they should be. And there are always going to be exceptions to the rules. But for the most part, generally, this is the sentiment that I hear a lot of women talk about. Right. So, and for the most part, the sentiment that I hear coming from men, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that they just want to feel respected. They just want to feel valued in the home. You know, they just want to have a loyal person next to them, you know. And most men also want to feel like they're important in their family, that they're providing for their family. For the most part, that is the way it is. So
that's for sure. Yeah, a man definitely doesn't want to feel like they're not respected in the home. Especially, let's say a man who's not like financially where he wants to be, and is like trying to work hard, and then let's say he goes home and he's not respected. It's like, yeah, that's not worth it.
Yeah, because then why am I working so hard to get to a better place if I don't even have someone at home who respects me? It's also important to value a person's hard work, because if you see that you have a man at home who's trying, who's working his butt off to become a better person, to provide more, you can't just brush it off and be like, well, you're not doing enough. You know, like, you have to watch the way you speak to this man, because we have the power of so much in our tongue as women, right? As women and as the men. If you're a husband, right, you have so much power in your tongue, in the way that your woman feels, in the way she moves on forward. And as women as well, we both have so much power as to what is the outcome for our family in just the way we speak to each other. Yeah. In just the way that we address each other, in just the way we either speak up or speak down on each other. So this is why I believe that I've acquired a lot of wisdom in being a wife, because even though I feel strong emotions and sometimes I do feel like lashing out, I don't. Yeah. There's things that I can say that would be very hurtful, but I don't, because I know that I'm saying it because I'm mad. Yeah. And I'm mad at things that, you know, it's like, dude, like, you're here because you chose to be here. Like, this is every decision you've made, like, has been your decision as well as him. Like, where we are in life has been a consequence of our decisions throughout our life. And some of it hasn't been, our decision. We didn't decide to be born in the family we were born in. We didn't decide to be born in the city we were born in, to have the influences we had around us. We didn't decide some things, but in the end of the day, like, what is you lashing out at the other person and, cursing them out and just, making them feel so small because you're so mad gonna do? It's not gonna do anything. Yeah. It's not gonna do anything. You're going to destroy your family, and you're gonna have no chance at it being better ever. So I think it's important for us to become wise, to listen to people who have had successful marriages, and learn from them. Learn to be emotionally intelligent. It's such an important thing. And I think that it goes back to what Jay Shetty was saying, that he wasn't being emotionally intelligent when he was doing that, right? When he was just trying to one-up her. He wasn't actually listening to what she was trying to say. He was just trying to have a comeback. Yeah. Like have a bigger, well, if you had a bad day, I had a worse day.
Yeah. Because then it minimizes her. It's right. Like you can't really say your day is bad because mine was better.
Right. But that doesn't help. Just because you tell a person, well, mine is worse, it doesn't make whatever the other person is feeling less valid or their feelings go away. It just makes them feel like you don't care about me. Yeah. You don't care about the way I feel because you feel like you have it worse. And it becomes a battle of who has it worse. There's not a more ridiculous argument than let's just see who has it worse here. It's ridiculous. Don't do that. Don't do that in your relationships, guys.
But this was a great chat.
It was. That's it for today's podcast, you guys.
Peace.